Okay, so I'm at some point I'll show videos showing exactly what the shootaway did to my shot and everything, but I don't want to make good shooters think, so I'm not going to give all the details. I can go into details about how good shooters move into shots, all this stuff. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to make good shooters think, but I'm going to give very surface level details. But back to the story, just going back to like the shootaway machine. At that time, my dad was shooting with me in the backyard. He's telling me this was in the 7th grade too. This is when my dad got the shootaway, and we're getting arguments. He was saying, Ryan, why are you shooting square? Your left foot's in front of your right. You're shooting square. It's because of how I was picking the ball off the rack. I'll go into details again later. But so it messed up my shot, and my dad's like, well, do this, and then he tried to fix it, and he made me do the exact wrong thing. So that's to make a long story short. But I'm not mad at him. I feel bad about the whole situation, and I want to move on. But he's stuck in the past. They're stuck in the past. So what would happen is, like I said, I needed my dad's help, and my dad would continue to help me, but he'd get mad, frustrated. Finally, he was like, okay, I fucking give up. We were getting in arguments, but he's like, I give up. This is in the 10th grade, the first time he ever beat me up. He's like, I give up. You suck now. Every time I fix your shot, it just goes back to shooting wrong. It's because I was picking the ball off the shoot-away rack. But then I was like, Dad, I need your help. Come on, let's shoot a little bit more. Because I did need his help. He always helped me my whole life. And now, at the time, it's true. My dad would, even all the way through high school, he would at times help me. And I remember once I came back from a tournament, and I was shooting really, really bad. Because I was shooting like my dad taught me to, wrong, completely wrong. And then my dad saw my shot, and he was like, it looks terrible. Your shot looks horrible. And I was like, well, can you help me fix it? He was like, okay, let's go to the backyard. And I know he would pass to me, and that's when I would start to shoot a little bit better, because I'm not picking the ball off the rack. But, he's like, okay, it's getting a little better. But it was just at that point, it was damage control, because he told me to do the wrong thing with my feet. There's nothing I could do. It was futile. I was shooting the ball off the thing that was making my shot messed up. It was futile. But at least my dad prevented my shot from being completely horrendous. And like I said, the reason I was such a good shooter was because I was unconscious. The reason I was considered the best player in the country is because everything I did was unconscious. So when my shot got messed up, I didn't know how to fix it. So but at that time, I remember in high school, I'd be like, Mom, well, how old was I? I was like 16, 17, 18. I would be like, Dad, come on, can you help me? Can we shoot a little bit tonight? I don't want to shoot tonight. Maybe he would that night. It was capricious, like I said, but no, I don't feel like it. Dad, come on, let's shoot a little bit. No, okay, or we start to shoot, and he's all, I give up. No, you fucking suck. I give up. Dad, come on, help me a little bit more. Let's just, okay, Dad, can we please do once a week for 15 minutes? And that's what when we went to the psychologist, I was like, can we just do that? And then I was like, that'd be the best idea. Once a week on Monday for 15 minutes. So at least my dad can tell me once a week if my shot's completely terrible. I just needed damage control at that point, and I didn't know the shooter was messing up my shot. But my dad was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And then my grandpa's like, well, Ryan, you just have to accept bad calls. Maybe your dad made a bad call, but you just have to accept it. Everything's fine in the universe. You just have to trust. Now, my grandpa didn't know it was a shootaway. My grandpa, like he said later, it wasn't because of the shootaway. It was because you're playing as bigger, better players. My grandpa came in from Kauai. He lived in Kauai, and he came in the 11th grade. He didn't know what was going on. And then I went to live with my grandpa. But my grandpa didn't help at all. He made things worse. And I'll get to that. But so, but I remember I would be like, I wanted my dad to help me. And then they kicked me out of the house, and I felt like I needed my dad to help me with my shot. And at that point, I was shooting completely wrong because my dad told me to do the wrong thing. After the shoot-away messed up my shot, he tried to fix it, told me to do the wrong thing. But I needed my dad's help. So I'm trying to get my dad's help, and Mom's like, oh my God, you're fucking baby. You're such a pussy. How old are you? You're 16 years old? You're 17 fucking years old, Ryan. You're 17 fucking years old, and you need your dad? You're a fucking loser. You're a pussy. So she would do this. Like I said, my mom sent me to a psychologist. The first time the psychologist talked to me, she said that my mom wrote her a letter, and my mom was like, Ryan was the most wonderful boy. He was so amazing. He was the best boy ever. And then all of a sudden, he became a jerk, and and saying all this mean stuff. He became a jerk and saying all these names. And then so the psychologist read to me, and then she said, what's wrong with this letter, Ryan? She said, I'm disgusted. I've never seen anybody as bad as your mom. She told me this. And I was like, what? And I remember I started to cry. And she was like, your mom's calling you names. And she's like, I can tell you're a good guy. And I was. At the time, my swag flow was perfect. Everything was good. It was just my shot was messed up because of the shoot away machine. And then I'm crying. And then the doctor was like, the psychologist was like, it's your mom is the problem. The way that she's talking to you, that's cruel. And I was like, I was crying. I didn't realize, I didn't have anybody on my side. Finally, someone was on my side. My grandpa wasn't on my side. Everyone was fucked up, and then no one knew it was a shoot away machine, but at least the psychologist was on my side. But then my mom, the next day, my mom said, that psychologist is crazy. You're never going back to her. So she sent me to a different psychologist, one that she could control. But anyways, my mom would be like, I needed help with my shot. And I wanted my dad to help me. My dad, they kicked me out of the house and I was living with my grandpa. So I'm like, oh my God, you're 17 years old. You need your daddy? Are you fucking pussy baby? You're such a baby, Ryan. Oh my God, grow the fuck up. Hang up on me. And like I said, it was ironic because I remember one time my mom was talking to her mom and her mom hung up on her. My mom was like, I hate when my mom hangs up on me. And my mom started to do that to me. I'd never be able to talk to her for more than 1 minute without her hanging up on me. And I just wanted help from my dad with my shot. That was it. Now, and as I said, none of it would have happened if it wasn't for the shoot away machine. If it wasn't for the shoot away machine, none of this stuff would have happened. But my mom wanted to make me into something. It was something wrong with me. My grandpa's like, Ryan, all you have to just accept it. Your dad makes a call. You have to accept bad calls. You can't make things happen. You can't force things. Your dad doesn't want to shoot with you. You can't force it. But my dad would shoot with me if he, like I said, in the 10th grade, he said he wasn't going to go to any of my games. But then the first game of the season, I made 4 3-pointers against OJ Mayo. Then who comes in the next game and who starts shooting me in the backyard? My dad. And he did that a lot during the 10th grade because in the 10th grade, I had games where I was shooting good and doing good. And he would go to those games and he'd be shooting me in the backyard. Now, later, I would try to tell my grandpa that, and my grandpa would be like, it wasn't because you were playing good that your dad, it was because when you played good, you were treating your dad well. And that's why he shot with you. But when you weren't playing good, you were frustrated and you treated your dad bad, and that's why he didn't shoot with you. That's not the case. That's not true. Regardless of the reasons. My shot was messed up because of the shoot away machine. I was practicing on the shoot away machine, picking the ball off of the rack, and it messed up my shot. And I needed my dad's help because I didn't know how to fix it. My dad was the one who told me it was messed up in the first place. I didn't know it was messed up. He was like, you're shooting your left foot for the right. I didn't know that. So I felt like I needed his help, and he helped me my whole life. And that's the other thing my grandpa tried to make me to the bad guy. My grandpa was like, what, Ryan? Like when I talked to him in like 2017, 2018, why did you want your dad to help you? Your dad doesn't know basketball. Trying to make me the bad guy. My dad helped me my whole life. I was the best shooter in the country because of my dad. Because my dad, if there was any problems, he would tell me, Ryan, you're shooting with your legs too far, Ryan. And he would tell me, shoot sideways. But he didn't realize what that meant. And when I got the shoot away machine, it messed up my shot, making me shoot my left foot from my right. He recognized that. It was because of the shoot away machine. He didn't know that. And then he tried to tell me to do the wrong thing. So my point is, if it wasn't for the shoot away machine, none of this would have happened. But my mom and my dad are thinking, like my mom would later say, it wasn't because of the shoot away machine. When I tried to tell her after college, because I wasn't allowed to talk about the past because my grandpa made up that rule, no talking about the past. So, but even he would later admit like, I didn't mean like, you can talk about the past sometimes, but he meant about the abuse. But my mom made it into, no talk about basketball. So anyways, when I tried to explain to my mom was like, it wasn't the shoot away machine. You were just playing, you just couldn't handle the pressure and you just fell apart. You don't, oh my God, you're ridiculous. You fucking ridiculous. You blame everybody but yourself. No, it was the shoot away machine. But anyways, back to the story. So at this point, like I said, my mom would be like, how old are you? 16? This was in high school. 16 and you want to talk to your dad? You want to see your dad? Like I said, I was kicked out of my house in high school. This has been going on. I've been alienated from my dad and my family since high school. My mom has had a contempt and a hatred for me since high school, since the shoot away machine messed up my shot. So then at this point, oh my God, you're 16 years old. You want to see your dad? Are you a fucking baby? Well, that was when I was 16. Okay. Then at this point, I was 22, 23? And I was like, Mom, this is after I got the shot and I had almost died from it. The doctor, my mom blackmailed me, made them give me a shot, and I almost died from it. And for 2 months, it was secreting in my system. Right after I got the shot, for 2 weeks, it takes 2 weeks for it to start secreting in your system. During those 2 weeks, before it started secreting, I was in the outpatient program. They gave me the MMPI. They did all that. They said, oh, you don't have a mental illness. And they told my mom to stop trying to make me take medicine. But then 2 weeks later, it started secreting and I almost died. For 2 months, I was crippled. it gave me brain damage. The doctor said I have brain damage. I have nerve damage because it made my fingers do this, and they still do this to this day. Every once in a while, I'll be like random times in the day, my fingers will start to twitch. So, but my point is, my mom at this point. So I'm trying to tell my mom, can I please talk? Can we move on? You know, and like I said, people are going to think that I'm talking to my mom in person. Like, your mom must have reasons to believe you're mentally ill. My mom barely ever talked to me. Only once in a while I could get her on the phone. And when I did, I would say this. And like I said, she hadn't seen me since high school. My dad hasn't seen me since high school. So I'm trying, but the reason why I say that is because people are going to think, oh, well, your mom, you must have been interacting with her and she must have legitimate reasons to think you're mentally ill. No, she hasn't actually seen me. So I'm talking to her, Mom, can I please see you guys? Can I talk to Dad? You know, and my mom's like, oh my God, how old are you? You're 23 years old. Oh my God, well, you're such a fucking baby. You need to see your daddy. What I want is this contempt, this attitude, this disgust toward me to evaporate because it's not deserved, it's not warranted. It was because of the shoot away. If it wasn't for the shoot away, I would have been big time basketball. And I discovered the theory of everything. She doesn't know that. But it's stupid. The way she's treating me is stupid. And it's immature and all that. And even my grandpa says, your mom's immature. She expresses dualistic software. He says, you know, my grandpa and my grandma didn't like my mom because she did that to my uncle, apparently. You know? So, but anyways, but my mom always treated me great. My whole life, she treated me great. But after the shoot away, this is what happened. So, anyways, I'm trying to talk to my dad. But, you know, because after the shot, I was basically handicapped. And I'm telling my mom, can I get a first floor apartment? Because she gave me a second floor apartment at this place in Escondido. It was the worst apartment complex in Escondido. And everyone would say, it's too dangerous to be there. I can't believe you live there. And I was like, can you please give me a first floor apartment? Because on the second floor, I can't work out. And my grandpa was even saying, you should get a first floor apartment so you can, you know, work out and jump around and stuff. Because you need to get this medicine out of your system and you need to recover from this. So even my grandpa was on my side at this time. And my grandpa was like, you know, yeah, your mom should actually probably help you with this. You know, but, you know, and that's the only time my grandpa's been on my side, you know. All the other times he was being a fucking asshole. But, so I'm like, you know, my grandpa's trying to help me. And he's like, you know, yeah, your mom should get you a first floor apartment. And my mom did end up getting me a first floor apartment. Too late, though, because then, like I said, I was on the second floor. I'm trying to get this stuff out of my system. I was doing some lunges. I didn't warm up because I didn't want to be too noisy for the people below me. And I tore a little tendon in the back of my knee. And then it turns out and I'd already messed up the tendon in the back of my left knee. Now my mom and dad always thought it was my hamstring. No, it was my tendon. A physical therapist later said it was my tendon. So I told my mom, and my mom's like, oh, you just sprained your hamstring. It's not a big deal. And like I said, I'm not in person. People are going to think I'm talking to her in person. So she has a legitimate reason to not believe me. No, I talked to her on the phone and I barely ever got a hold of her. And I'll get into that too. But I tell her, and my mom's like, you just hurt your hamstring. You're going to be fine. No, I had a messed up knee now. And I messed up from the shot. So everything's deteriorated. And I was like, Mom, can I please talk to Dad? Because my dad's a doctor. Can I please talk to him so he can help me? Oh my God, you're 24 fucking years old. You need to see your daddy? You're 23 years old. Maybe I was 22. I don't know. You're 23 years old. Oh my God, you're such a baby. So I'm like, yes, I want to see my dad. I shouldn't not be seeing you guys in the first place. But she's like, oh, no, your dad, listen, get it through your head. You can't make things happen, Ryan. Your dad's never going to talk to you. We're never going to see you. You can't force things. And again, this is stemming from the shoot away machine because she's still stuck in that mode. So I would try to explain to her. Mom, the reason why you talk like this is because of the shoot away machine. And none of this would have happened if it wasn't for the shoot away machine. I tried to explain to her, but she'd go, oh my God, don't bring up the past. Your grandpa said no talking about the past. And I'm like, Mom, listen, Grandpa was talking about the abuse, and I don't need to talk about that. But I want to say, because you have a false version of the past, you're actually ironically the one stuck in the past. And I tried to explain to her about the shoot away, that if it wasn't for the shoot away, none of this would happen. Oh my God, why are you stop talking about the past? And she'd hang up on me. Anytime I would try to talk about the shoot away, she would just hang up on me. No talk about the past, hang up on me. So, and she barely ever talked to me. She never would talk to me. I would try to call her 100 times. She'd answer one time. Mom, can I please talk to Dad? No, he's never going to talk to you. Okay. So then my mom I talked to my mom one time and she says, I talked to my psychologist, and he says that you're toxic and I should cut ties with you. So from now on, I'm not going to talk to you anymore because my psychologist said it's for the best thing, and it causes me too much stress, and it causes me too much anxiety to talk to you. So from now on, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. So if you really, really need something, you can text me, but that's it. So that's it. Okay, bye. And she hangs up on me. From that point on, this is like 2014, from like 2014 to like 2017, I would try to call my mom. My mom had me blocked for like 5 years. I couldn't even get a hold of her. I'm trying to get a hold of her. She won't even, and if I needed something, I had to text her. And it's been like that since then, for the most part. So, yeah, so it's bullshit. So at that point, and I needed help from my dad because at that point my knee was hurt. So, and my grandpa even said that he felt bad that my mom didn't give me the first floor apartment. She ended up getting me a first floor apartment after I had already hurt my leg. My grandpa was like, yeah, that's too bad that happened and everything. And he already felt bad that I had gotten the shot. So then, like I said, I went to try to go to my aunt's house because I told my aunt, I told Aunt Rachel, please. I said, can you get a hold of mom and dad and ask dad if he could look at my leg because I have a hurt knee. I hurt the tendon in the back of my knee and I wanted him to look at it. My aunt was like, because my aunt is crazy. My aunt has fucking problems. She's a bitch. She's a fucking bitch. So I'm trying to talk to her. She goes, oh my God. Because she's just like my mom. And they're sisters, So she's like, oh my God. Your mom said the reason why, she's like, why don't you just go, swim or something? Why are you stuck in basketball? Like, what she was like, what'd she say? She said something about basketball. She was just like, oh yeah, like, why don't you just start to swim? Like, this is why your grandpa says that you have, and my grandpa would always say I didn't have schizophrenia, but she's like, oh, this is why your mom says that you have schizophrenia because you're stuck in the past. You're stuck in basketball. Why don't you find a new hobby? You don't need to fucking play basketball. Who cares if your knee hurts? Why don't you start swimming or find something new to do? And I was like, Rachel, I could be big with basketball, and I could have been. I wanted help with them and other people to help me get basketball videos, but my mom was like, oh, why do you want basketball videos? Oh my God, you're fucking mentally ill. You're stuck in the past. No, even my grandpa said it was okay if I could have studied those. It would have helped me. I wanted to study the way I moved, the swag flow #1, which I lost in college, and how I moved, and my shot, because when I studied, I could duplicate my shot if I had the videos. Now, at this point, I'm going to get to this. My shot was still messed up, and it was because I was still shooting the way my dad told me to shoot. But like I said, I figured out that the shooter messed up my shot, but I was still shooting my left foot pointed forward and my right foot to the side. I'm going to talk about that in a different lecture. But so I'm trying to talk to my aunt, and my aunt's like, oh, just get over the past. This is why your mom says you're schizophrenic. I wasn't schizophrenic. So I'm trying to tell her, I was like, please just, Rachel, please talk to my dad and see if dad could talk to me. I have a hurt knee. He can help me. And she says, you're such a fucking baby. You need your dad? Just like my fucking mom does. So I left her house and I kicked her pots on the way out and I left. Then she called the police and sent me to fucking jail for a couple days. And so to this day, my mom's like, I tried to talk to my mom. I tried to talk to my mom today. I talked to her on the phone. And my mom was like, because my grandpa is dead and I want to go to the funeral. And my mom's like, no, you're not going to go to the funeral. It's not going to happen. No, you're not going to. And I say, why? And I said, Mom, I promise you, because my uncle told me, he said, just tell your mom that you're not going to break anything. You're not going to yell at her. You're not going to yell at anybody. And I was like, I'm not going to yell at anybody. I'm not going to break anything. I'm an adult. And my mom was like, no. She was like, no. Well, what about all the time you broke things before? Of course we think that you're going to break things and yell at us because of all the times you did before. I was like, what? In high school? That was fucking 15 years ago. I'm an adult now. And I'm not yelling at her like that, but I'm like, I'm an adult now. That was 15 years ago. That was high school. Mom's like, wasn't high school. Remember that time when you yelled at us and you threw it? Because my mom was never fucking an authoritarian person. I could do whatever I wanted when I was young. I could cuss. My mom didn't care. I could do whatever I wanted. She never gave me any discipline. Now she tries to act like an authoritarian disciplinarian. She was never like that. So she's fake. She's a faker. So she's like, no, you can't go. You can't see your grandpa. You're just gonna. She was like, well, what about that time in college when you yelled at me and dad and you chased us out of your apartment? Yeah, because that was the one time in high school and in college when she visited me and I showed them the quadrant model and she said I had schizophrenia and she's like, you need to see a doctor. And I yelled at her and I told her to get out of my place. And even that was my sophomore year of college. That was 13 years ago. So I'm like, and I say, it's so ironic. She was always like, no, Ryan, don't talk about basketball. You're stuck in the past. This is why you're schizophrenic. This is why you're schizophrenic. You're stuck in the past. Get over the past. I'm not the one stuck in the past. They're stuck in the past. I said, this is 13 years ago. That was my sophomore year of college. She still won't see me because of something that happened 13, 15 years ago. So, but anyways, I ended up hurting my knee and I needed help from my dad. And they didn't help me. So I'll continue with the story.